Hi Gemini, this is your astrological prognosis today, 2012 with me, Lada. And before I start, always I recommend you find out what your ascendant sign and moon sign is. Because everyone knows what their sun sign is, which is, if you're a Gemini, it means you were born in the end of May and the first 20 days of June probably. You know the sun sign, but always find out your ascendant and moon sign because they're more specific and more personal, and listen to the 3 prognoses. But if you don't have time to listen to the 3 prognoses, at least listen to the prognosis of your ascendant sign, because this is how a professional astrologer will look at your chart. You know, this is how they'll define your chart. But also, if you have time, listen to the moon and sun sign prognosis, and especially listen if I'm mentioning the degree of your moon and the degree of your sun and the day that you were born of the sun sign, you know. Then it will have a special relevance to you and it will indicate what's going to happen. And if you don't know your ascendant or moon sign, you can go to my website astrolada.com, where there is an ascendant sign and moon sign calculator. Write down the degree and the sign of the moon and the sign of the ascendant, and then listen to hear those degrees and those, you know, listen for the prognosis of those signs. But now we're talking about Gemini. So if you're one of those people who have their ascendant sign in Gemini, their moon sign in Gemini, or their sun sign in Gemini, being born most usually in June or the end of May, 2012, what will bring for you, you know, we always place the sign that we talk about in the first house. You know, this is where it is. And then we look how planets are moving relative to this sign for the year ahead. And the planets that shape destinies are 2. These are the planet Jupiter, which always gives with ease and expansion. We like that one. Wherever it's passing in that year, it will bring ease and expansion. Things will be happening with ease there. And the planet Saturn shapes reality and destiny. And wherever Saturn is passing relative to the ascendant moon and sun sign, it's going to be affecting this area of life in a contracting way. This is where difficulties come. This is where karma comes, where we're being judged for what we've done. You know, this is how God shows His more judgmental side. Usually, it's not God; it's ourselves that have created our problems. So we have to reap what we sow. And this is when Saturn comes in, where Saturn is passing, and also the eclipses form our destiny. I'll tell you. And the eclipses form our destiny, but especially if they're passing through the most important houses. And for you, this is what has been happening for the past, since this summer, eclipses started happening in the sign of Gemini, here in the first house and in your 7th house. So you can't believe how many Geminis have come to me. People, especially people who have their ascendant signs in Gemini, but also moon sign in Gemini and sun. They have been coming to me since 2011 from about June, when the eclipses started happening, and eclipses will carry on in your signs till 2012, till the end of the summer of 2012. And when eclipses happen in the first house and the 7th house, this is when relationships are affected mostly. And first house is your sense of identity, who you are, your path in life, where you're headed in life, your path, your idea of the future. And where eclipses happen this is where big changes happen. So a lot of you have been thinking of changing their life drastically, dramatically, some way. You know, you've been thinking and it will continue into 2012, as I keep saying. You've been thinking, where am I headed in life? What am I going to do? I want to change something about myself, about my life. You know, first house is the self. 7th house is the partner. And where the eclipses have been happening on this axis, you see, the partnerships of a lot of you have been affected. And especially now, there was one eclipse close recently in November, and in June there were eclipses, and a lot of you, the old was abolished, relationship ended, and new relationship came probably. You know, you still have a chance to meet new relationship. Where those eclipses happen is also where fateful events happen. So basically, if you lost relationship, be thankful to the universe, because it's preparing you for something new. It's preparing you for someone new to come into your life. Usually, these are faithful relationships that you've talked with those souls even before you were reborn. If you believe in reincarnation, these are the ones that people that come into your life. These right now are someone that you might have to spend your whole life with, or at least 9 or 15 years ahead. You know, for the long distance. It's very interesting. You know. So that's why I've been talking in 2011 For a lot of you who have ascendant moon and sun, that then you might meet a faithful karmic partner, you know. And usually where the one part of the it's called the two nodes of the moon, where the eclipses are happening, and the south node is called Ketu, and this is where there is more of an emptying effect, and the south node is called Rahu. This is where there is a more of a manifestation and increasing effect. So those of you, so you've been having, and you'll keep having till 2011, till the summer, till the end of the summer of 2012, sorry, more increase in relationships, maybe being helped by someone, maybe meeting a partner who is faithful to you, who is karmic to you in some way, not faithful, who will change your life, you know, and it happens suddenly, you know. Maybe you broke up some old relationships, so a new one can come. So you can expect to meet someone important, you know, someone that you can marry. And Ketu, it has a more emptying effect. This is the other part of the eclipse. Yeah, it's like the tail of the dragon of the eclipses. The end part, it has more emptying effect. So it's more about yourself. Maybe you got disappointed with where you're headed in life. Maybe you got disappointed with your direction and your self-image and how you perceive yourself. Maybe you felt a bit down about that, this emptying effect of decreasing the ego, you know. Maybe somehow influences happen in your life that your ego was depleted, and you just got exhausted with where you're headed in life, with your direction, and you're changing. Because of disappointment, you want to change it. That's why such big changes happen when the eclipses happen in the first and seventh house. It's your relationship or where you're headed. And don't worry, it will continue this transformational process for you till around the summer, the end of the summer 2012. And then we're getting fun. Let's talk where Jupiter will be. Jupiter is the planet that brings things with ease, you know, that brings confidence, that brings awareness, that brings opportunities. And Jupiter from 2011, from the summer till the June 2012, Jupiter, here it is, has been passing in the 12th house relative to Gemini. And 12th house is the house of charity. So maybe a lot of you have been giving more than normal. It's the house of spending. So when Jupiter passes, it expands. So some of you might have been going on splurges and spending much more than normal, especially if your ascendant, keep saying, is in Gemini. You feel it strongly, though. Have been, as I say, it's charitable house. It's giving to others, so spending on yourself. You know, it's a house where things go out from, and it's been expanding. And maybe you've been feeling more compassionate to others. 12th house is, and you continue till June to feel this. 12th house is also the house of spiritual connection, of escapism, you know, of connection to God. And Jupiter is a very spiritual planet. So a lot of you maybe learn to meditate, and it's great till June. Keep on these, or maybe you started having very vivid dreams all of a sudden, and these, you were getting messages directly from God or from your higher self in those dreams, you know. This is the inner psychic world. The 12th house is the house of the hidden subconscious mind, and it becomes very vivid and colorful. Your inner experiences and emotional life, you become much more sensitive and emotional, but Jupiter expands everything, we say again. You become much more aware of psychic influences, and you might get much more easily sad or happy if you're next to a sad or happy person. Your psychic abilities and intuition increases. And maybe you've been getting more gut feeling of what is right or what is wrong, or getting dreams, like I said, and it will continue till June. And after that, Jupiter goes into your first house. Look, it's moving from June onwards till the end of 2012. Jupiter will be in your first house, and the first house is the self. So as we said, like one of the eclipses that's been happening for almost a year now has been taking your sense of confidence and your sense of where you're headed and purpose in life. It's been emptying it. When Jupiter comes from June onwards till the end of 2012 and big part of 2013 is the opposite. Jupiter brings a sense of meaning. Jupiter brings feeling of connectedness with the universe, with God, with your higher purpose. And because this is the first house is your path in life, all of a sudden you feel very tuned in what you want to do in your life, where you want to head in. Ideas will start pouring in. Maybe new opportunities will open up for you. And especially, which will feel it the most, those of you who have their ascendant or their moon from 0 to 16 degrees in Gemini. All those of you who have their sun basically in Gemini, their sun who were born from the 21st of June till the 7th of July. 7th of July. Here you go. So they will have you who are born and who have your ascendant moon in those degrees, so your sun from the 21st of June till the 7th of July, you have this wonderful Jupiter influence the whole from June 2012 till the end of the year and part of 2013, and you get this expansion of your mind. You get more confidence. People feel more drawn to you because of this ability for you to feel confident, to connect to life and to the higher meaning of life, and also to envision the future, you know. So you'll be much more charismatic and much more wise than other times, and you really see where you're headed. You'll be inspired for starting something new. First house is always the beginning. It's new ideas coming. Maybe you're starting good businesses. If you're planning to start any businesses, it's a great time to do it now, you know, because just doors will be opening for you, or whether it's businesses or any new kind of projects or enterprises from the second part of October will be running for you. And if you've been trying to achieve something, maybe having some big goals in your life and things never worked out properly, this is, especially if you're ascendant or your sun sign in Gemini, this is when you're going to really, things will start opening for you. If you've been working really hard, like practicing the piano for years, and you wanted to, you know, to become a concerto pianist, you know, and you never had the chance, maybe now it will happen from the second part of the year 2012, especially if you're fit in any of those days or degrees, you know. New opportunities there. So yay, finally some confidence coming back. The eclipses maybe have been taking some of your confidence away this year and part of the other year, part of 2012, you know. You've been taking the first part, the confidence, and you've been getting disappointed with where you had it in life, but the second part of 2012, you're getting the direction and the purpose and where you're headed perfectly, you know. So I'm quite thrilled for you. Things will be happening, things will be moving, you'll be becoming more wiser, and things will be happening with ease. You'll be expanding, you know. This is what Jupiter does. Your ideas, your projects, your self-belief, confidence is expanding. It will affect also your relationships well, especially if your ascendant or your moon is in those degrees from 0 to 16 degrees in Gemini. But also for all Geminis, you know, because those who have their moon in Gemini, in any kind of degree, but especially those first degrees, when Jupiter passes, the moon is your inner world, and it's your emotional world, so you can find new partnerships there. You can have increase in relationships, in how you feel, because it will make you feel much more positive inside, and how you feel about yourself. You'll be appreciating yourself more. You'll be looking the world through better, more pure lenses, from more confident and more positive lenses, and others will be drawn to you. So it's very possible, if you've wanted a girlfriend for a long time or a boyfriend, this if you have your ascendant or your moon or your sun for this reason, someone new can become in your life that expands your life, that's tolerant to you, that's positive to you, not someone who is, you know, comes that just gives you grief, you know, someone who is good for you. Again, you see relationships, relationships topic, you know, from the second part and the first part, because of the eclipses happening in your 7th house, continues to be, but it might be more traumatic the first part of the year, you know, because eclipses, they always bring something suddenly and more traumatically and unexpectedly, while Jupiter brings it with ease and understanding and confidence. And now let's see where Saturn is. Saturn is the planet that basically, you know, brings things with effort, and that areas of life where we have to work hard on. And actually for the past 2 years almost, Saturn has been in your 5th house, in the 5th house from Jupiter. And fifth house is connected to children. So maybe a lot of you, to creations, our creations. And children are one of our creations. So maybe a lot of you Geminis, you'll be having to put the effort with your children, having to work very hard, you know, to direct them or to help them in their life, you know. There is a bit longer. In 2012, this testing will continue. You have to sort out, you have to have a no-nonsense approach to the areas of your children's life. So basically, you might be quite strong and determined with them. You might be quite like the hard taskmaster. Or maybe your children were giving you some grief, you know, and you have to you know, you had some worries with that, and where Saturn passes, it tests us. It requires hard work from us. And it continues till the end of the summer, till the beginning of the autumn 2012, you know. And fifth house is also the house of creativity, any kind of our creations, you know. So if you're artistic people, Saturn, because it contracts, maybe some of your creativity may be decreased, or if not, then it was much more, you put much more effort in that area, you know. So you have to make, if at other times your creativity was just flowing, now when Saturn's been passing in the past 2 years and for another 9-10 months to October 2012, your creativity has to be somehow, you have to put a lot of effort to make things happen. But if you're a writer or any kind of creative person, you know, actually it's a great time for focused work, as Saturn is the planet of work and effort. So if you put work and effort, you can produce a lot of creative projects there, a lot. But it never happens with ease. Don't expect to be inspired like that so quickly and things to run. You have to put the hard work and the effort. And fifth house is also romance, and because Saturn contracts these things, especially those of you who have their ascendant in Gemini, maybe on the romantic things have been a bit slower, or you might have been attracted to a bit older people, more mature people, more serious people. Saturn is a serious, mature planet. But it's not long-term partnerships. These are not the partner you'll marry like the seventh house. This is more like how romantic you feel, how creative you feel, you know. Having fun. Fifth house is the house of having fun, you know. And Saturn has been contracting in, and it's very soon moving. This 2012, it's finally moving out of this house, so you'll be able to have much more fun, to be much more playful, to become much more, you know, this seriousness in life will disappear and you'll get back your spark of life. And especially because Jupiter is going from the second part of the year in your first house, you will definitely feel it, you know. So very interesting year for you, Gemini. A lot of focus on your relationship, as you can see. A lot of focus on your path in life, where you're headed, confidence coming back to you. A lot of focus on past life and on past life karmic relationships, and also starting new goals. It will be a great time from the second part of the year to start new initiations, new projects and goals, you know, and to get back some confidence and spark into your life. Well, thank you very much, Gemini, and I'll see you next month.